All right, so welcome everyone. First podcast. So I think the thing we need to do first is get to know everyone here. I want to start with Fitsu because it's his channel. So the floor is yours.
Agreed. Well, thank you. Welcome to the chat, everybody. I go by Fitsu. Real name's Jeff. Been playing Destiny since I bought it day one, but didn't really get into it in the first year. I had a lot of stuff going on, moving around. So I really started a week or two before Taken King came out, but ever since then I've been playing my butt off. Got over 1,000 hours in the game. Before that, played a lot of Halo, normal video game stuff. In the 90s I played PC games. And it was the original Halo that brought me back to the consoles. I'm a big time tabletop gamer, card gamer, miniature gamer, do it all. Major nerd all my life. An old man, 37 years old. How you guys doing?
There's a lot of parallels with you. I'm excited to tell my story, but now we should go to Mystical or Ivan. Finally got his name. Or is it Yvonne? You Yvonne?
Both actually.
Okay.
Spanish it's Yvonne. English it's Ivan.
Cool.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, PSN is Mystical Bum. I actually got into Destiny with the beta. Played the beta and I absolutely fell in love with the game. Got super hyped when it came out, and I actually have not put it down that much. I picked up other games during the content drops and whatnot, the rules and whatnot. But I still come back to it. It's Destiny 100%.
Very nice, man. True OG.
Yep.
Nice. And I hope the stream keeps working. Otherwise, we might have to change this. I think it's working because Mill says, "Woo, beta players." So
Yeah.
At least they can hear us. That's good. I want to avoid technical issues.
Sure.
I'm Tommy.
Sure. First time through.
Crippled Inferno. Yeah, I think, and I've thought about changing my gamer tag or PSN a lot, because when I originally made it, I think I was 13 on Xbox, and I had been going, you might not know this about me, but I used to be a gymnast, and I would just destroy my ankles. Every 3 months, sprain ankle in a boot.
Can you imagine?
So people just started calling me, like, crippled. I was like, okay, well, I guess this is becoming my name, so I might as well just gamer tag in. Stuck. And, like, I don't have any health problems, really, but at the same time, it's, like, such a pain to change a gamer tag after you've, like, logged so many hours. So, stuck. Started playing games probably when I was 8. I think the first experience I had with Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. So, I'm gonna drop spit too, but I'll keep going with this. Nah, your screen's still there, but played a lot of Spyro. My first shooter, like you, was Halo. My uncle had a business called Good Game in downtown Salt Lake, where he basically put 40 PCs on the main level, and then filled the lower level with, like, beanbags and had, like, 10 Xboxes down there. Every single night there was some big Halo LAN party. They played a lot of Unreal Tournament. So I first got into Halo then. Played a lot of it. I got my first Xbox, I think, I was 13, and that's when Halo 3 was out. Played that on the Xbox 360. I just a huge Bungie fan, so I was going to buy the Xbox One for Destiny because I loved it. Probably should have bought it on PlayStation 4 to start, but I didn't. So I played a lot. Just got PS4, found the clan because console jump, so that's me. And next, I wanted to
I can go OG. I was going to say my first shooter was Duck Hunt.
Duck Hunt.
Nintendo.
I think a lot of people. see. I think I need to get Fitzu back in.
I've never really been much of an Xbox guy. I owned the first Xbox. I played the first Halos and whatnot, and I really like that. But other than that, I've never had a 360, never had an Xbox One, PlayStation through and through.
Yeah. I got a Wii U. That was a big mistake. I was watching a lot of Mario Maker, and I'm like, I'm an engineer. This could be fun. And then I started making levels that were impossible for me to beat. This is stupid. What's the fun? My creation skills at Mario, it's like on opposite sides of the plane. I think we're trying to do that.
Yeah.
That's it.
I believe in you.
Add people. Yeah. Honestly, maybe do it on a phone. All failed. Alright. We'll keep trying to get him in here.
Alright, yeah.
But the next part is what brought us to Destiny. Check. How did you find out about Zen Misfits?
It was it Focus Fire Chat? It was one of the podcasts. I believe it was Focus Fire Chat where you featured.
Is that the lore one?
Yeah, dude, love them.
Nice. I actually listened to Guardian Radio from like way before the game came out. I think I got into it like 4 weeks after they started podcasting, and it was like Bungie like showed a trailer or announced like or showed an image of their next game, and then these guys started podcasting. I was like, yep, Bungie's making another game. I'm all about that. So yeah, that was pretty much it for me. They do a clan spotlight. Like I honestly just wanted to find some people to play like PvP and trials with, and it just sounded like a good group of. It was definitely a super good decision.
Yeah, honestly, it was like it was during one of the lulls. Basically, it was before Rise of Iron had dropped and whatnot.
Yeah, I think
well,
I got
actually,
in.
It was right after, and it's like I had my group of people. We raided, we did PvP, we did everything, but then they just stopped. They just stopped playing. And at this point, I was just like, you know what, I need to find something new. I need to find, a group like-minded group of people. People who still love the game, people who still like to play, and yeah, found it with Zen Misfits.
Yeah. We'll ask Fitzu about stuff when he gets back in. One thing I thought would be fun is, like, this is the first episode, so everything's gonna be kind of different. But, what's the most fun that you've had in Destiny since, let's say, Rise of Iron?
Since Rise of Iron, so post Rise of Iron?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, these private matches, the crazy private matches, they're great.
Yeah, man. Private matches have been lit.
Yep.
Like, man, I'm going to change my answer. I'm not going to cop out and say that it's been private matches, even though it is. But I think, for me, it's got to be private matches. That feature
it's just,
changed
it's like
the game. And the sad thing is, like, a lot of the people who play this game never use it.
No.
And it's sad because
it's like this hidden gem and they don't know it's there.
Yeah, like every podcast I'd ever heard, like, need private matches. You look at data about how many people use that, and there's hardly any people using it. It's incredible, and I think that it's really because not a lot of people know about clans. Straight up.
Yeah, straight up. I can agree with you there. A lot of people don't know about them, don't look for them,
I think the fact that you can have like a clan tag like up in your name is like made people want that. Like if it's just sitting there and it's empty, people will go. And like I don't play PvP and see people in there that aren't in a clan anymore. But at the same time, I bet a lot of those clans are like 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
that's just such a sad way to play.
And I mean, it's fine because they'll have the 3 or 4 guys and whatnot, and it's probably 3 guys, they're good friends and whatnot. They've been playing forever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they don't realize they could really expand. They could all join a bigger clan, join a bigger group of people, and that's basically what's happening here with Zen Misfits.
Yeah, I think where it actually gets frustrating is because I was actually in a clan before Zen Misfits called Mountain Sexy Time. It was just a bunch of chefs that lived in Colorado, and they were all super cool, had their own thing going for them. And then like I met them running Crota, and we just hit it off, and we're like, yeah, let's make our own clan. And there was 4 of us. From that point on, if we ever wanted to run like a raid, it's just like, all right, let's fire up LFG and see what kind of crazy guy we get this time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really hit or miss. And I think
she still is.
That was a huge turnoff for me. Like Taken King, because like I would log on, there would be these 3 guys playing King's Fall and back.
It would appear so.
Sweet.
You were saying 3 guys playing King's
Fall? Oh, yeah, I was saying I used to be in a clan called Mountain Sexy Time. We'd have 3 guys on, they would start the raid, I would get on later, and then it's like, hey, can I jump in? They're like, we're not. It's totally 3 is too small for a clan, so that's why I'm just kind of appreciative of this really welcome. Then it's just like accepted us.
Oh man, Zen's awesome. I started the game. I first played in the beta with Xbox, and I really loved it. And I told some friends about it. And I had a buddy who said that I should get it on PlayStation because that's what he was going to play it on, and they were going to get the exclusives. And I didn't have a PlayStation, so I bought a PS4 just for the purpose of playing Destiny. And then, as I said earlier, some stuff came out. I moved around a lot, and then my friend, by the time I got around to being able to play, he had sold it in favor of getting hockey again. So I suddenly had nobody to play with, and that's how I found Zen Misfits, was through Reddit. And I, being the obnoxious person I am, I played constantly and was on the forums constantly until Ryden eventually just made me an admin because I was always around. So here I am.
Nice. So right before Rise of Iron, you became an admin?
No, I've been an admin since just a few months into Taken King, really, 4 or 5 months, I think.
Okay.
So, like I said, I was always around, so it made sense.
Yeah. So, while you got booted to Orbit, Mystical and I were just talking about, like, what's the most fun we've had in Destiny, and I had to cop out my answer. I said it was private matches, because they have just been so fun. Not having to worry about, like, that laggy guy on the other team.
Yeah.
I was going to say it was the raid for me, because this last raid was good. Like, nothing can beat the Vault of Glass because it's, like, that first time. But I think this last one was super fun, but after getting into this clan and, like, meeting some of the people, it's like playing private matches and just dicking around with everybody, it's been too fun.
Sure. No, I can definitely get behind that. Honestly, I think the most fun I've ever had in Destiny was probably the first trip to the lighthouse. I didn't expect it. I did a lot of trials just for fun of it. A couple guys I picked up on LFG, they were a team, and I put out their LF2, and they picked me up, and we played, and we got to 5 wins without any hassle whatsoever. And I'm like, oh, that's a good team. Got to 6 wins, and I started feeling pretty good about it. And the 7th game, I don't think I got a single kill the entire game. 6 or 7 rounds we played, and they just carried me through it. Then in the 8th and 9th round, I didn't say anything because I didn't want to jinx it. But got into that 8th and 9th round, and we just plowed right through and won it, and got it with a couple of randoms. And I wasn't sure I was ever going to make it there. It was just a huge relief. But those games felt so intense. I just could not believe the pressure we'd put on ourselves to do it, or I'd put on myself to do it. And finally getting there, even though I tried to tell myself that I wasn't stressing about it, I wasn't worried about it, when I finally got there, the relief I felt was palpable. That's probably the most fun I ever had in Destiny, was that first time getting to the lighthouse. So.
Do you have a cool first lighthouse story, Mystical?
It's a similar story, except there was a couple buddies of mine, and we decided, it's like, let's check out this trials thing, we've been seeing it and whatnot. We kind of ignored it at first because we used to raid a lot more than we used to do PvP. But we were still pretty good at it, and we decided, it's like, all right, let's go into this trials thing. So the first card, we flopped horribly. We probably got about 3 wins, and then after that, got our acid handed to us. We didn't have any boons or anything. We realized that until afterwards. But a couple tries into it, we started getting the groove of things. We finally made it to the lighthouse, and I'll never forget, it was like the first gun I got was a messenger. And that's when I figured out, I was like, whoa, shit, full rifles are a thing here,
Yeah. What map was it on?
Oh, God, I can't remember. This is year 1.
Right, all right. Yeah.
See, year 2, it was trials didn't come to year 2, it was the first year trials.
Yeah. For me, it was Asylum. I'll never forget it, man. Going up those stairs, and there's that 50-50 zone that everybody fights at, and there's the first time somebody's like, "Hey, man, don't go there and fight." I'm like, that makes sense.
It's funny, huh? Can anyone guess what my first map I went flawless on was?
Burning Shrine.
So, yeah.
Try.
Like, Trials came out that first day, and I don't think anybody knew what to do. And that was I think that's what the beauty wasn't. I don't think there was a meta in the game yet because the Crucible wasn't that competitive yet. And man, what was I using? I think I was using Bad Juju back when that was good.
I was rocking Thorn when I went. I'll never forget that. So cheesy.
You're right. Thorn was good, and because I just have this weird complex that I need to try and beat the meta sometimes. I think I was rocking Red Death, and even then, that was still a 2-burst kill. And people just hit me with Thorn and at me, shoot him in the head, my health back, and be like, "Messed up, boy."
For me, it was Mida. Mida was my first. I was using Mida and a Party Crasher. So.
Mida's always been great, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's always been a solid gun.
So, Destiny, check. We could talk about the least fun in Destiny, but I don't think that's fun.
Why bring in the downers,
That's fair. That's fair.
Most fun we've had at Destiny. That could be.
I don't know, man. I could tell you real quick, and it's not that big a downer. You might think it's funny. I think the worst time I ever had in Destiny was when Private Matches first came out, and I realized how much better than me all my friends were.
I mean, private matches are so weird because
it took me a little bit to warm up to them, man.
Man, I'm gonna call this guy out right now. I don't get sniped by anybody harder than Akimbo.
Yep.
It doesn't happen. But then we go into the Crucible, and this guy doesn't hit anything.
Nope.
I don't know how it's happening. He's just living in my head.
That's vicious,
corner,
man.
I turn
Vicious.
around, just head. I can't.
Private matches, you're getting your ass handed to you by Akimbo. He's just constantly there. But once you go into actual
it's his niche.
Trials with him or something like that, it's like yeah, I'm just gonna.
Well, no, see, that's what it is he knows your antics, man. You guys play so many private matches. He's got you guys' cards.
I'm just gonna have to carry a pair of dice and it's just be left or right.
Yep.
Just not do what I would normally do.
No, what he's trying to teach you is you have to start pulling those pro maneuvers where instead of coming around a corner, you sit down and.
Oh no. Where is he? Are we okay?
Yeah, we're good. I was gonna say at the same time, what Akimbo's taught me a lot, at least dealing with people who are like him, because there's a lot of people who play like him in trials and whatnot, snipers, they can't lane and whatnot, and you can't really challenge that, so, he's taught me to find a way around, find a way to get around them, and then sneak up on them, and it's great.
Yeah. think we're learning a valuable lesson. Maybe this base cam thing was like cool for a minute, but maybe we can go in a tower and just talk. Bitsu can put $100 in to upgrade a laptop, or 1,000. All right. So I think we can move on to this next part because Fitzy's gonna get back in here. What is Zen Ducks? Because I mean, since this is a Zen podcast, we kind of need to address that because we kind of just hate it about it. We're just like, oh yeah, like let's just make this clan. This will be super fun, and we didn't really think about it. And there's been some weird stuff that's happened. Like we were in a match, and someone's like, hey, can I be in the Zen Ducks? Like I would like to apply. It's like, this is weird. Like what kind of idea is out there for this clan? And really, I think is the best way to sum up Zen Ducks is it's all the people PvP section in Bing every day.
Pretty much. It's funny because my notifications in band only come from the PvP section.
Yeah, I had to turn those all off. Like some of the stuff that people say, I just like don't want popping up at work unless like I'm ready to look at it, because I might just like laugh at something. Shoot me dirt. Isn't that bad, but yeah. So like Zen Ducks, it's not like we are the gods of this clan.
Yeah.
Like
Not even close.
I think it was just like us playing PvP together, or these private matches, and it just was like a hassle to like find out who was on. Honestly, it was like I'm too lazy to go 2 pages into who's online to just find one guy. I'd rather have him just be like, right here.
Part of us in the Outlaws and part of us in Misfits and whatnot. So
yeah. So
you look at the clan list, and not everybody was there.
Yeah, it like I think a lot of the guys in Zen Ducks are good at PvP, but I think the thing that we're missing is that first time that 3 of the whatever number of guys are in it go flawless together.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I mean,
gotta work on that.
I've been like going unhealthy lengths, literally, to get to the lighthouse. I'm just like scrolling through LFG, just like trying to find like a solid enough team that I'm confident enough that we can get there. And I mean, it's worked 3 times in the last 2 weeks, but most of the time I'm cruising into the lighthouse at like 3 a.m. And then I am like, oh shit, go in 7 hours. And I'm gonna feel like crap because I need to sleep, like I do.
Yeah.
I think once I get there 7 times, can just put a full set of ornaments on a character, I'm just gonna be like only playing for fun for the rest of the time. But yeah, like,
I mean, I still find trials fun. Like even if we don't get there, you know, I mean, obviously we're always gonna try to get there, but I like the competition part of it. And I mean, now competition's rough because you know technically it's like you know there's a lull in the thing right now in Destiny. So a lot of players aren't really playing much. So all you really have left right now in trials are the really, you know, the tryhards, sweaties.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was thinking about it the other day, and it's like we got our asses handed to us first game. It's like, come on, like how are these guys on 1 win? Thought about it. It's like every good team out there is gonna be 1 win at some point, and that's the player base of trials right now.
But right now, it's like a lot of them are good teams.
Yeah, you're one. You could get to the lighthouse just by like rolling the dice 7 times and getting a good roll.
That is one thing. Your war was great in that aspect because it was 100%, you know, RNG the whole time.
Do you like it more or less now?
See, the thing is, like, at how it is at this very moment, I don't think it matters whether you have one win or not, because you're always 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a good team on the other side. You know what I mean? It's always going to be competition's fierce. Beforehand, I used to kind of like the RNG aspect of it, but at the same time, you don't get the competition you get now. Like right now, when I think I went to the house last week and I just made it once, but I felt like I earned that. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel, but it doesn't always work that way for me.
No.
Like, I think the hardest games I play are like between 5 and 7.
I always say fourth. The one that leads to the fifth win is one of the hardest ones for my cards always.
Yep. I was up late last night and we got there, but we had to fight tooth and nail between 5 and 7, and then our 8th and 9th win, we won 10 rounds, like, in a row. It was silly. Our 8th game, there was a guy who was AFK the whole time. It's like, well,
on your team?
Their team.
Oh, okay. Well, so you got lucky. So.
Yeah. And one of the guys I was playing with, he was streaming. There was a guy on the 8th win who came into his stream and in the chat posted, "Hey, can you let us win?" It was like,
that's great.
Like, the guy was like,
can you guys hear me
let's
now?
just play it out.
Yes, we can hear you.
So my laptop is just going to say no to doing anything fun right now.
Okay. Well,
so I'm on my phone.
That works.
There you go. That works.
Yeah. If the face cam's like too much to do, I think it'd be an entire time.
Yeah. I'll just go audio this time.
Okay.
Next time I'll set up my 360 closer to my PlayStation.
We can
and
troubleshoot
use that
later. But
yeah, for sure.
Mystical and I just like kind of cleared the air about Zen Ducks, and I was just saying, like, someone asked, like, hey, like, how do I get into Zen Ducks? And it's like, to ask. that's
all.
It's like we enjoy PvP most out of the game. It's not the right way to play it. We're just lazy to scroll pages to find people that we play with. Plans.
Understandable. And it's not like an elitist thing. I mean, some of the best PvP guys in the clan are still in Misfits, like Shotgun Makuder.
Yeah.
And so it's not like you guys are culling from the rest of the group to find, the premium PvP players.
Right.
It's just another division,
Yeah.
It's all good.
Like Top Hat's grandson just joined the clan, and he was like, "Hey, I want to be in Zen Ducks," and we're like, "Cool, join." And we played a couple games with him. What's his name? King Deadpoolio.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy. Like, we ran a couple of different banner games together, and last he's great.
Sure.
But yeah, so it's definitely nothing.
He's a great fit, then why isn't he in the Misfits?
There's no clan.
Is he in the chat? Let's ask him.
I mean, how can be a great fit and a great duck? Those are two different things, man. You're either fit or you're a duck.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I know it was lame.
So anyways, moving on. I wanted to talk about this Zen Duck PvP highlight reel that I've been posting about. Basically, what I wanted it to be was just like a celebration of like the part of the game that I'm passionate about. So far, it's been pretty much like Mystical, myself, one other guy who have sent clips. I know everybody's got some somewhere. It doesn't have to be like 360 no scopes on everybody.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be great.
Like,
it doesn't.
I just want to get some funny clips. I want to edit it together in February and just like post it. And if it gets like 3 views, that's cool. I just want to like play around with the PvP part and just see what I can do with an editor, because that's something I used to really like doing in high school, was editing videos. I was in the AV club doing like the student, so I know how to work all the programs, and I made one for my old clan. I think I posted it back a while ago. I think I've improved my editing skills a little bit in the past year, and I just kind of want to give it another go, see how things go.
For sure.
But
For sure. It seems to me like I always have my best moments when I'm not recording.
Right.
And as you know, I have a funky setup that doesn't really allow me to capture things in the most easy of manners. I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it. I just haven't played enough with it to see how it works.
Yeah.
But I think it's really awesome that you are doing it, man. That's yeah. I don't have a touchpad on it, so I gotta.
Right.
There's a button combination I can use that replicates that share button. I just don't know what that button combination is.
I know it's like I'm not in the Skype call technically, but like I recommend this controller. It is the greatest thing created for playing video games on consoles. I've got one little guy mapped back here on my right pinky can hit it. There's these like buttons. Like I can throw an extra paddle in to this, hit it, but I'm afraid I would just be like constantly at my ghost every time I squeezed my left hand. But if I press this little button and like back on my thumbstick, it pulls out my ghost, and I use the bumper jumper setting, so I don't know if that's somehow what's making it possible for me, but not you. Like open up the share function.
That could be.
Yeah.
I'm using the standard configuration. I have 3 paddles on the back though.
Maybe it's the last one that's not there.
No, the last one. The 3 paddles are all correlate to the 3 of the 4 face buttons.
Well,
the only face
I'll
button I don't have a paddle for is trying.
Super important. But yeah, if there's anything I can say to close the like PvP highlight reel thing is we need more clips. Like I'll totally wait longer to get it, but I don't want anyone to feel like I need. There's this hashtag that floats around called no clip. That's not a thing. I don't think anybody's getting enough breakers that we can make a whole montage out of it. Yeah, just like if you do something funny, like if someone dies in a funny way, those are some of the funniest clips.
Like, sure.
Yeah, most of the videos I uploaded just because the reactions at the end, in my opinion, are hilarious.
The hype fact is important. If you can get some people screaming in there too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like we were playing. Nice. I think one of my favorite clips I've ever saved is in Drifter, where took a guy out and he just froze in midair. Like I kept shooting at him because I didn't know if he was dead or not. It's just that he was floating, same exact spot. I was like, that's hilarious.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, I'll have to take some clips for you. I mean, I've got some stuff that's on Twitch, but it's not pared down, and I'm not going to make you sort through 4 hours of stuff to find it.
Cool. Yeah, like I said, I was going to probably start editing in February, but I'll probably take the whole month to do it, and we'll call March 1st like a soft day to expect that, and
Sure.
Maybe it might be extended, who knows. But I just think it'd be fun because I think it goes without saying we all love this game, and I just think it would be cool to put that together and just give it to the clan, and I want everybody to be a part of it if possible.
For sure. And I think it's awesome that you're doing it, man. That is going above and beyond. You know.
Because I'm trying to be an admin.
If you want to be an admin, you probably only have to ask Ryden. It's not a big deal.
No,
honestly, being that you guys have your own separate group, the Ducks, it's kind of appropriate that you guys would have one of your own anyway.
It's a conversation for another day.
Sure.
Man, so I think we've talked a lot about PvP up to now. We could talk about PvP back in time. What I want to ask you guys about is what PvE content do you guys enjoy? What do you like? If you want anything more from a PvE experience, like what is it?
All right. You want to go first, Mystical?
No, go ahead. I gotta think about this.
All right. For me, it's kind of a no-brainer. For me, it's all about the raid. I don't think any other console game experience mirrors it. I think it's unique to Destiny. I think it's the most fun. If I had one complaint about raids, I'd wish that they had more story element to them, or at least more story element in the game as opposed to in Grimoire. But I mean, as far as story missions go, you play them once, maybe twice, maybe once per character, so 3 times. But generally speaking, unless it's the daily and you need legendary marks, you don't ever play them again. So while I love that story, I don't need a lot more story content like that. I like raids, I like strikes, but specifically I like raids. I think the Rise of Iron, Wrath of the Machine, is just an incredibly fun time. If I had, I kind of wish there was more loot to it, or the loot wasn't necessarily so easy to get with the different keys and all that, because there's really not a lot of reason to go back into it.
Yeah.
Once you've done it a few times. But I think just kinetically, it's a ton of fun because it really showcases the movement of the game and how frenetic the game can be. And I even though you're a really powerful guardian, you have to do things right to get the raid done. So I would say that that's my favorite of the PvE content by far.
Where do you rank the raids?
For me, the most fun is Rise of the Machine, or Wrath of the Machine, rather. Next to that, I'm just going to go backwards. I like King's Fall a whole lot. I know it's the most technical of the raids, but when you get it done and you get it done right, I think it's amazing. And I like the fact that there were so many different ways to do the different parts that we kind of took the developers by surprise and how we figured out how to do it. Also, it's a space unlike any other in the game, with the way it works. Next after that would be Vault of Glass, just because again that play space is incredible, and it's a mechanic heavy raid. The jumping puzzle's a little weak, but overall it's just a really cool raid. It would be higher up. It'd probably be King's Fall if that second part where you're just fighting the waves upon waves of things with the oracles wasn't quite so monotonous. And then lastly, I'd say Chronos, because it's still a raid, but it's not.
It's still a raid.
It's still a raid. It's got the label raid.
Yeah. It's not much more than, I mean, honestly, you almost get as much mechanics out of a half hour or the Court of Oryx. So, but that would probably be ranked last, but it's still something fun to do, go back and do. I kind of wish I'd done it back when it was difficult. Because I do think some of the mystique of it is lost on me by virtue of the fact that I didn't go into it until I was already light 400.
You ever solo it?
No, I have not tried soloing it. Well, let me rephrase. I once tried to solo it, not knowing what a raid was. I went to that node, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I got killed by a bunch of thrall when I could barely move, and I had no idea what was going on. This was within the first week or two I played the game, and that was my only attempt at soloing Crota. I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah, you were gone when I was talking about my Destiny history, but one of the guys in my old clan, we brought him into his first raid ever was Crota, and we dropped into the pit. We're just like, go ahead, lead the way. And he was just like so scared of Thrall, and he was just breathing really heavy in the mic, and we just give him crap all the time. Like now, every once it's on like maybe once or twice a month, but we're just like, hey, there might be Thrall up here. He's just, get out of here. I wasn't scared of those Thrall. I was like, well,
start breathing
really heavily.
I know people said it before, but I just like to reiterate. Strike mechanics in raids would be unbelievable. I mean, can you imagine dealing with all those Thrall on Arcburn? Where every swipe is taking out a third or a quarter of your health.
Yeah.
I think that would add a whole other dimension to it. Even more so than I know a lot of people have called out for raising the light level and making the loot relevant. I think just throwing in strike mechanics on all the raids so that just to throw that little twist on how you do them, I think that would be a big deal.
I mean, might be just naive with technical like power needed to do something like that, but I feel like it can't be that hard because they can just change those things like on a dime. It's like a random generated modifier on every Challenge of Elders week, and that's been going since April.
Sure. I mean, that might be something that's built into the code for those particular mission types. That's one of those vagaries of spaghetti code.
Engine.
Yeah.
Challenge of Elders came out way after that Vault of Glass. Like, you gotta figure they were building the Vault of Glass way early in development. And I feel like Challenge of Elders was almost like Patch when they couldn't put a raid together for House of Wolves.
Yep. That's probably the case. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the game is built under some strange circumstances, as we all heard.
Yeah, apparently that article. Have you read that?
The Kotaku article?
Yeah. Where it showed
but for our listeners, you should describe what it was.
So yeah, basically they went through and like told everybody about how Destiny had this great story, and then things kind of bounced all around, and then they just had to say, "Look it, we're changing everything now," and then just took pieces of everything. And what vanilla Destiny is just like fragments of this original story they had in mind, and just shipped it.
Yeah, and there were issues with they thought the story. Oh, go ahead.
Go on. My bad.
I just know that they didn't like that. They felt the storyline was too linear with you doing all the Earth stuff instead of going here, there, and everywhere. And so suddenly things got shuffled, and the original storyline kind of doesn't really play out the way it was supposed to. So yeah, definitely, it feels the original storyline, just playing straight vanilla Destiny. It feels like a weird ending for where it ends.
And that's part of that Kotaku article right there. Was like that they had a story and come, they had their deadline too and whatnot, and come last minute, some of the developers were like, no, this story, no. And so last minute they're changing the whole thing, and that's where we're left at right here. Like if you look at the article, they were saying that at one point, Rasputin, the Warmind, was like an exo or like a frame, and he gets abducted into the dreadnought, and Bart was going to save him, and I was like, wow, that's kind of far-fetched, but at the same time, I guess that's what they had thought up originally.
Yep, but I mean that he could be downloaded into a frame, and I'd even heard that Cade 6 was originally supposed to be Rasputin unknowingly.
What?
So, yeah, like Cade 6 was originally supposed to have had Rasputin downloaded, and there's some jokes that are still in the game that pay reference to that. So
that's crazy.
Yep.
But at the same time, like a lot of people complain, there was no story in it or anything like that. But in all honesty, I don't know if you guys ever played this, something like Dark Souls. Dark Souls is no narrative or anything like that. There's no linear story, but the whole lore of the story is in every item in the game, and that's pretty much what Destiny did for vanilla.
Yep.
Like, there's a big story in there. There's stories everywhere. Yeah. It's just all you have to look for yourself.
Yeah, I think generally accepted fact that Grimoire is an efficient way to tell the story the way it is right now, just
sure
online somewhere, like in a section on the own app. But I mean, if you go out, like, who's the great podcaster, like Sir Wallen?
Life. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Like those guys, they do like a Book of Sorrows read through.
Yes.
And the story is awesome. Like, if someone were,
sure.
I don't like live action video game movies typically.
Right.
I feel like if the right Disney movies are great. If like the right producers got a hold, it's like the writers lore. It's a great story.
Oh yeah. The setting's amazing. It's very well fleshed out. I'm really excited to see what they do with Destiny 2, because I know they've had a lot more time to learn from their mistakes. And even if you look at the storytelling in the game after that, both in Taken King especially, but then even in Rise of Iron, they do a much better job of telling a cohesive story with the game.
Right.
But yeah, there is still a whole ton of stuff just tucked away in the grimoire that you don't ever see. And I mean, you could do a lot with that. Even honestly, if they would not have handcuffed players with the style of graphic engine they have for the game, so that you could use it for like machinima more easily, like the original Halo. I could have seen a lot of player made acting out of some of these storylines.
Yeah.
It could have been really cool. But just the fact that you can't get your gun off the screen is kind of a big deal. You know, it's a huge impediment. Yeah, exactly. Whereas with Halo, all you had to do was get your hand cannon out and look down so far that you would eventually look back up. You know. And on top of that, you also didn't have private matches. So there was really no space to do it before. Whereas now you could actually, use private matches in order to frame these things and set up a play space to make your movies in. These things just came out too late in the life cycle of Destiny 1. I think maybe if they learned from that with Destiny 2, then that would really leave the community some options for filling in gaps for them.
I think we'll get to that in a second. This tangent has just gone like really crazy. Maybe we can get through this part.
Yeah, I should have warned you. That's a threat of me being on the podcast. Is I tend to meander with my thoughts.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's why you need to be on this podcast. Is because you have these really great perspectives.
I'm happy to be here, man.
Mystical, what's your favorite PvP activity? Raids also.
I mean, in the end, it's the raids just because of the replayability and the memories. Like I can't remember how many times we did Bolt of Glass when it originally came out. Just farming for that gear and everything like that, and all the memories back then. Back then and shit. And I remember it was Warlock was the thing to have. It was the self res because you went in the hard mode and there was no revive. So I'll never forget. We'd go in six Warlocks deep, and I remember when we first started, me and my friends, we all had 3 accounts, 3 Warlocks, just so we go in, we get rewarded. All right, if we didn't get what we wanted this time, we'd go right back in with the other one, and we get it. But honestly, yeah, that's just the memories you get doing all these raids when they first came out, and your buddies and whatnot, figuring everything out and just messing up. It's great.
Yeah, that was back in the day where you could level a guy from 0 to 20 on the Vaults of Glass in like 6 hours. It's like, oh man, I didn't get the Vex. Well, delete character. Let's try again.
Oh god.
People would do it. Like, that gun was so overpowered in the first week of its existence, like, just to, like, taste how crazy it was.
It got nerfed quick, though, but I remember.
To the head. It was just like, dead.
I will say, I've heard legend of the epicness of Year 1 Nightfalls, and I'm sad I missed it.
Yeah, okay, so when did Xur sell his first Gallahorn? Like week 2.
It was the first week. The very first week of release, he sold the Gallahorn.
Exactly. I was still trying to figure out what strange coins were that first week. And like, you couldn't...
Yeah, not a lot of people got it.
Not strange coins. So like, you had, there was like the weekly and then the nightfall, right? The nightfall would give you like, whatever, and then the weekly would give you like 9 strange coins, right? Strange coins weren't dropping like they are now. It's like, you needed to run your weekly 3 times to get 27 strange coins so that you could buy whatever exotic Xur was selling that next week. So I think the time you rolled around for the first week, I had like maybe 6. Like, you would get 1 at the end of the...
Yeah, I was one of the few that didn't have enough. I mean, nobody knew Xur was going to be there. Nobody knew he was going to be selling, and then everybody looked at the Gallahorn. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Come to find out, it's like, holy shit, it's the most OP thing in the game. And he never sold it again until, what, year 2?
You would go to LFG.
Yeah, like 2 weeks before.
Like, got Galahorn, it's just spammed for invite. Because like, during Crota, it's like if you didn't have that during the first couple weeks of it, aren't an experienced sword bearer, trash. Like you're not in.
Yeah, I have the greatest Galahorn story of all time, man.
Let's hear it.
Zero was selling legacy heavy engrams, and I went and bought a bunch and got a Galahorn.
That was your first one.
I didn't play in year 1, so yeah, that was the only one I ever got.
Yeah.
Until year 3.
I got mine running a Nightfall. It was Volus to Arc, back when the only way to kill him with all that health was to hide underneath the left ramp and just snipe him through these little holes in the boxes.
Yep.
And killed
That was
him.
one thing. Nightfalls back in the day were no freaking joke. Like, if you died at the boss, you got sent back to Orb and you had to start over. So you had not find these cheesy spots.
Yep.
That sounds like it would be a lot of fun. Like, I mean, a lot of stress or a lot of tension, but it sounds kind of like the PvE equivalent of Trials.
Yep.
And
It was great.
That would be really cool, man.
I mean, I kind of liked it back then, but I also appreciate where it is now because, like, if you went into that fight, you had to do it this way. Like, the risk was just not worth playing it normally. Had a stacked team. Like, I know Dado
Yep.
would always run things like the legit way, even if he had to smash his head against his PS4 over again. Like, he still, to this day, will run Golgoroth with 6 orbs. I mean, his team's good at it, but it's like, no one else was doing that.
Yep.
Right.
But yeah, my first
That was
Galahorn
commendable.
took Volustark out. I wasn't paying attention to the little feed. Like, it was like, someone got Galahorn. Me. I didn't read that, and my teammates just immediately came over and just started punching me over and over again. I'm like, what's going on? And then it brought me to the end screen, and I saw it, and I was like, yeah, we got it.
Nice.
Like, why are these guys hitting me? I didn't do anything.
Right?
Just turned around 180. Beat down.
I remember my first exotic was the last word, and I got it from the Volta Glass.
That's why
And I remember I quickly equip it. We go back in, and I'm shooting stuff with it, and I'm like, this thing sucks. Like, it takes almost a whole clip to kill things. It's a hand cannon. So bolted it for the longest time. Then suddenly I'm playing Crucible, and I get destroyed by it. I'm like, okay, maybe this is where it goes. And ever since then, too,
That Mystique
That's where
was so fun getting those first exotics. Mine was Universal Remote.
Yeah.
Got it from a heavy engram. Legendary.
Nice.
Just ran around in burning shrines.
Another thing to know, back in the day, you could have a legendary engram and all that stuff, and it would decode into a green or a blue. That used to be so sad.
Sting.
So sad. Rahu was the biggest troll.
So much salt at Rahu.
See, I missed all that, man. I'm sad I missed it.
But hey, we're not right around the corner, but sometime down the road, Destiny 2 is going to come, and there's going to be so much more. I am so excited.
Yep.
And that's why I hope everything's
Same here.
changed. If they want to bring us, and fine. I think the people who've donated the all cause that they ran got those cool emblems stuff. I'm totally cool with that stuff coming back, but even shaders, I don't feel like that should be pulled forward because it doesn't make sense that the rest of it isn't there.
Yeah.
For me, but I'm probably wrong.
Yeah.
If they were just to drop Destiny.
I like the idea of
Destiny
things carrying
2,
forward, but
I would be so mad.
I mean, the way I see it, certain things are probably going to, because, they have the whole 10-year plan, and it's the whole RPG or MMO shooter kind of deal. But at the same time, you look at it like any other expansion, when a new expansion drops, new guns come out, you kind of just drop what you had and you move on with what's there. And the same thing's going to happen with Destiny 2, you know what I mean? You're going to, even if everything were to carry over, it's just going to sit in your vault. So, what's the point?
I'm sure there'll be callbacks. I'm sure we'll get another last word eventually. Things like that. Things like the really iconic weapons, Galahorn.
Yeah.
Maybe not at launch, but a year or two into it, I could see it happening.
Reskins, Destiny 2.
Yeah, it could be.
I mean, that'd
Could
be
be.
cool. I think they would have to
to a certain degree. Oh, go ahead.
They would have to like calm it down. Maybe one or two. I don't want every single.
Yeah, for sure, no. But I mean, at the same time, some of these exotics are really neat, and they are iconic of Destiny. Especially like I think Gjallarhorn, I think Last Word, those ones come to mind immediately.
Yep.
I know some people love their Universal Remote and their No Land Beyonds, but ultimately, the only thing exotic about those is a little bit of look and a lot of the fact that you're using a special weapon as a primary slot. And I'm not sure that really is so precious to the game that those would need to be carried forward. In fact, I kind of think that those two weapons really limit design space and created some of the issues they had when they tried to mess with special ammo in year 2. So, I could see some of the exotics being left behind, the ones that aren't precious to anyone or really things that are unique.
I'm gonna bring it back in. We're gonna finish this
All
PvE
right.
talk now.
All right.
Okay.
My favorite part of PvE, and this is gonna surprise you guys. Mystical, you played beta, right?
Yeah.
Did you play that day where they opened up the first moon mission?
I remember.
You took a left, didn't finish the mission, right? Just explored the entire Hellmouth, right? I loved getting my
I remember when
ass kicked
they announced it. It was like a whole week you were on Earth, and then they announced it was like, well, coming Tuesday we're gonna give you the next mission on the moon. And I remember, shit, I shouldn't go to work today. I wouldn't want to do this.
Yep.
The whole day I was anxious and whatnot, and I came home and I just spent all day just roaming around, exploring the whole thing.
Yep.
Sure.
So
That's awesome.
One of my best friends who bought the game, we went into that together. We were just like, let's go explore. We found the level cap was 8 for the beta, and we ran in and found a level 20 ogre, and we just like lost our minds. And I think that my favorite PvE experience was exploring the world. It's fun for me. I mean, it might still be fun for other people.
Yeah, definitely.
But I put in a little note in the show notes to like talk about a game that some people have like interesting opinions on, but The Division had really interesting idea where like the Dark Zone was PvE mobs everywhere, but you could turn a corner and there would be another bunch of players that'll come in and just kick your ass, take your gear, and run away. And then you're done. Just respawn. You're like, well, all the work I put in the last 45 minutes is gone. While that could be extremely ragey for someone, the mobs that were in the Dark Zone for a while were really challenging and super fun. And I think that's something that Destiny kind of lost and that I wish was a little bit more. Because like if you load up as a level 400 Guardian and just go sit like in the Cosmodrome, a whole army of dregs will surround you and shoot you and you won't die. Like they'll miss their shots. You'll recover. Sit there. I was farming the exclusion zone because I needed ball kills for a test weapon. And I had to help them so that I could rerun after I got to the limestone. And that's just a little bit sad.
Wow. I could see the complaint.
So I think that's definitely something that they are going to work on, because we can move on to this fake Destiny 2 leak. You guys heard about it?
Little bit,
yeah.
I'm going to try and pull it up.
Here and there.
All right.
It sounded awesome. I think, like, maybe a spoiler alert. We'll put spoilers here, even though I think everyone has said this is fake. It was just some dude on Reddit that said, yo, my uncle works for Bungie, here's what's happening in Destiny 2. Like, it was literally framed that way. He like, his Reddit name was like Destiny 2 leaker, and it's like, But even though, like...
But you know what, though? As crazy as it sounds with the way some of the leaks have gone on before, that could easily be like a test. Like, what will the community think of if we do this?
Okay.
I would not put it past them as being some kind of, like, mass focus group testing.
Right.
Just saying.
Yeah, there's like, there's a photo that he's like, put like Destiny 2 private build, like his someone playing it, and apparently that's what makes it credible, is like a really poorly put together photo of, like, yeah. So none of this could be true, but I still think it might be fun to speculate on it, because a lot of it is PvE related, and a lot of people still enjoy the PvE content in here, and it can definitely get better in my opinion. So let's just, I think I got it up. Came out like a month ago, and I think it's been debunked. It's there, but it's fun to think about.
Sure.
Scroll.
You know, and the other thing to consider is, even if it wasn't from them, I am sure they were paying very careful attention to what people say about it.
It blew up
you know?
Reddit.
Yep.
So, I mean, Osmo and Deej live on Reddit a lot.
Sure. It's kind of their job.
Yeah. Being a community manager is hard, especially for this one.
Oh, I can't even imagine it, man.
Especially
The way people get so angry about things they love.
Okay.
And so many people love Destiny.
I got it. Alright, so we'll just go through this bullet point by bullet point. This guy's Reddit username is Inside Leaker. Alright, so here are the bullet points. They are not completely character. My source described it as a clean slate, but not. Apparently, our guardian will retain their accomplishments, etc. up to this point. Not have any items.
Okay.
So
That seems like a fairly safe middle ground to walk when making a fake leak.
yeah, a lot of these that are listed, some of the criticism was that, like, people will be like, yeah, duh. So
Yeah.
This one kind of is interesting to me, because it's like, our guardian will still retain their memories, accomplishments, etc. So if this was true, that means our guardian lives. I want him to be thrown into a wood chipper.
What?
I want everything different. I want a new guy. Like, I'm so mad that I made my guys ugly.
That's why I deleted like 600 hours of gameplay in September. It's because I two reasons. One, I didn't like the way my hunter looked, and I made a hunter. And two, I had deleted my still piercer, and at that point there was no other way to get it back. So I deleted my 500 hours in my hunter and my 100 and some hours in my warlock, and so that I could create a new hunter. And played that one up all the way, and left my old hunter intact until my new one was maxed out. Then I deleted my old hunter and created a new warlock and played that one all the way.
They need a barber.
Yes.
Definitely.
That would have saved me a few hundred hours.
How did they not put a barber? I might be naive to the work that's needed. Maybe, like, you hardcore into some server, touch it again. But yeah, so apparently Guardians retain their memories, accomplishments, etc., but we will not have any carryover gear, weapons, items. Items include emblems and shaders to you guys.
I don't know. I think when they say gear, I guess so. Yeah, that's what it would have to be, because you'd think gear would be weapons and armor.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So he's not talking about, like, you know, ether cores and all that stuff.
Ether seeds. I've got so many.
What? You don't sell those all to Varix every week?
Got nothing.
Crazy talk.
You should,
heavy ammo
but I
sets,
don't.
man.
Yeah, I just buy those with strange coin.
Yeah, me too. Well, I use both.
Like, it's to the point where my vault is so clogged up with, like, chroma that it's too cluttered. Like, I'm not gonna get more than 3 stacks of heavy ammo. I don't burn through them quick enough.
I keep 10 per character, but I'm still trying to get the, I still have to level up my Titan's Dead Orbit to 25 to get the final exotic artifact.
Nice.
Exotic class item, sorry.
I'm still on, like, I'm level 23 in Dead Orbit on my main character. I'm about to step into that world for the first time.
Oh, wow.
I'm
Okay, so
106 on mine.
Nice.
That's loyalty.
Well, like I said, I've done 7 of the exotic artifact or exotic class items so far. I still need. I'm on the quest with my warlock for the final one for her, and I still need to finish to get to level 25 for Dead Orbit for my Titan. But I've got all 3 for my hunter already done. Once I finish those, I'll have all the year 2 plus exotics in the game. I don't have Necrochasm or Vex Mythoclast. Some of the year 1 raid stuff I don't have yet.
Right.
But I'll go back and get that too, just because I enjoy the game.
Okay, next point.
Here you go. 117 Dead Orbit. Sorry. Oh, good.
Nice.
Kill.
That's impressive.
That's some loyalty,
That is
though.
impressive. That's actually a big deal for me because you can tell me that there was nothing special for hitting like level 50 after Rise of Iron came out. Because I was worried about that. With my
This was all me trying to get Revenant.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And I didn't get it till 106, I think it was. Yeah, RNG.
Okay, you can call me like the uneducated, but what is Revenant?
Shader.
The one black shader for Dead Orbit.
It looks pretty cool, but I think like Super Black and a couple of the other ones have
Surpassed
they
it.
look as cool, but they don't have that same like feeling. But no one's gonna look at you and say like, "Oh, they did back in the day."
Anymore.
Gotcha. I see.
Shader pool was
I think I have Revenant. I'm all curious about whether I've unlocked that one or not.
Yes, you do. You do.
Alright, so next thing in here is there'll be 3 new subclasses from the jump. The existing classes will be fully reworked, including new abilities, perks, and visual effects.
Nice. I would assume there'd be new visual effects.
But like, new abilities, are they just gonna like get rid of a lot of the ones that people don't use, or are they just gonna straight up like add a column?
It would not surprise me to see some of the always used ones disappear, and some of the never used ones disappear, or at least be reworked. I think that right now, for most subclasses, you know exactly what jump everyone's going to use. And you know which grenades everyone is going to use. There's very few subclasses that have multiple grenades.
Yeah.
That people use. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see if they adjusted that. What's that?
Swarm grenades?
I don't. I've seen people use them, but for the most part, every gunslinger uses trip mines, right?
Incendiary grenades are badass. I don't know. You might want to give those a try.
Well, I know until people discovered how busted spike grenades are currently, every Night Stalker was a void wall, Unless you're using nothing manacles, every Void Walker uses Axion darts. Almost every Blade Dancer uses skip grenades.
Yep.
Every single striker in the game uses lightning grenades.
Yeah.
When you see flashbangs, you're more shocked by the fact that you got hit by a flashbang than you are by the blinding effect of the flashbang.
Just because I'm excited, I'm blind. Like, come get me, dude. Way to break that meta.
Yep.
But yeah, I think.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they all got reworked though.
Yeah,
of course,
the
yeah.
only thing that I'm afraid
I think I've heard people say that they didn't even want to see these subclasses come back, and I think they're iconic to the setting.
Yeah.
Even if you look at like the characters in the history stories, the grimoire story, something else, most of them you can pin down what class they were, what subclass they were.
Yep.
So I don't think they can just wipe that clean and say, oh, we're getting rid of them all.
Right. That'd be tough.
But I would be very surprised to see them come back as exact replicas is what they are.
Yeah. I think though I'm afraid of like reworking subclasses because they put so much effort in trying to get things as balanced as they are. They're still not there.
Sure.
But if they throw one more wrench into something, like the whole thing breaks. Like it's this butterfly effect where like changing the way you might.
Yes. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying insofar as if they were to just make all of those adjustments with the current setting. But I imagine they've got an entirely different pool of things they're working with, so that it's basically a whole new game at that point.
I feel pretty neutral.
I mean, there are a lot of interesting like spaces for them to work in that could change the way things feel quite a bit. Like one of the things that I've frequently brought up when playing PvP is the fact that Titan melee effects only take effect when you kill someone, whereas Warlock melee effects happen when you hit someone. And I've pondered what balance issue there is that those two things don't work the same way inherently. And just changing the way those work really would change the meta quite a bit. I mean, how many times have you got into a close combat fight with a Warlock?
How often do you actually hit people with those T-Rex arms? Maybe that's it.
Well, there's that, but that's like that's kind of a double penalty at that point. Yeah.
They're like, sorry about the jump. Here's your melee.
Right. I mean, I'm sure you both lost close combat attacks because of a sudden Scorch melee getting somebody an overshield against you.
Yeah.
You know, how many times might that have happened when you were fighting a Titan, Titan defender, if he didn't have to kill you for his barrier to come up?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the exact same effect in the game. It's an overshield.
Honestly, the only time I see Force Barrier actually used a lot is when you're using the no backup plans, just because you get your shield with a shotgun kill.
Right, and again, because you brought up the T-Rex arms, Titans, they don't have the reach to rely on their melee attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I hit tier 12 on my striker, I was kind of like, well, this is the most useless class to hit tier 12 on because I never punch anybody.
Okay, this thing also says the game may face a delay into the first quarter of 2018. That'd be a big deal for you. It wouldn't be for me as long as there's something in the way. I think
they could push it back. They could push it back 2019 for all I care, as long as they get it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They take the time and don't do what they did for your vanilla.
Yeah, I would say right is definitely better than now. I'm not a patient man. I think we really should have had it by now. But if it's going to take this long to get it right, then that's what I want. I'd rather have the game complete.
Exactly.
I don't want to. I know we've all heard about the debacle of Halo Master Chief Edition or whatever, which came out and basically just was unplayable.
Dude, I have that, and I think I've played it once.
Yep. So I mean, you bring out a game like that, a game like this. If it doesn't work when it's new, it's not going to get the audience it needs to sustain itself. So I would definitely rather they wait and get it right as opposed to rush it. I mean, I don't like the idea of waiting until 2018 because I want to, I was playing earlier today, like pretty much any day you talk to me, I was playing. And I said, I want more people to play with.
Right.
Lag is an issue because there aren't enough people close to me with internet connections playing, and that's why skill-based matchmaking and connection-based matchmaking are such hot topics. Is because connections are few and far between now because there's less people playing.
Yeah. Do you think that people will we get more people with Destiny 2, or do you think the community is in a spot where it's going to be the same? Like, the people still playing Destiny 1 are going to jump into Destiny 2, and you think it'll blow up?
I think it'll blow up.
At first, at first it will.
I think if they do it right, it'll probably blow up and retain that That's
the big thing. Is retaining. Yeah.
Well, I think this game has retained better than any other game of its age. If you look at any other game that came out 6 months or 8 months after launch of the new systems, none of them have people playing them anymore. This game still has thousands and thousands of people playing every day, and it's still bringing in new players. It would not be a stretch to me to think that all the people who've left would come back to at least try Destiny 2 when it first launches. So I could easily see it being a much bigger launch than the original had, and the original did pretty well. So, yeah.
Destiny Tracker says there was 700,000 players yesterday.
That's incredible. And most new games, if they said they had 700,000 players, they'd feel like they'd made a successful game.
I think that's just kind of because there's so much to do. Like, there's guys in the clan that are still just grinding away at Wrath of the Machine. It's like, that's something I don't do, but for every guy in our clan that's doing it, there's thousands more that are doing it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Some people, that's what they want to do. That's all they like in the game, and part two, you do what you like. But yeah, that's what's great about the game is you have a whole bunch of content for people who just like the PvE, and then you have all this for people who just like PvP. It's great for people who like both, but you do have enough for each side.
60 FPS. Is that a big deal?
You gotta have it.
Yeah, dude.
It's not a big deal for me personally. I'm sorry, go ahead, Bum. I keep cutting you off, man.
No, you're good. I was just agreeing with you. I was like, yeah, you gotta have 60 FPS.
Yeah, you do, and it's more because of the comparison conversations, which are inevitable. Like, I don't care if you have 60 FPS. It's not going to affect whether I enjoy the game or not. I don't even think about the fact that this game is 30 FPS. But when people talk about it, when they compare it, they're going to bring it up. And if you don't have the same benchmarks that the other new stuff has, then you're going to get busted down for it. You can't be taken seriously if you're too far behind, and 60 FPS is last year's news. They almost have to go 4K with it.
There's a guy who put a video together that like fake rendered a little bit of Destiny in 60 FPS. You can look it up on YouTube, but it's beautiful. I think it's noticeable, but I think a lot of it is just like a bunch of guys saying like, how much do you bench? Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, sports.
Yeah.
It definitely will sell to people a little bit better if they say it's 60 FPS. I just don't want them to sacrifice anything to make it 60 FPS. Frames per second. Like, you don't know what that means. Right now, Destiny is, for everyone listening, like, it's 30 frames per second. That's pretty much what games have been. Like the high quality ones, render certain graphics, you have so many, it's like your console will explode. But a lot of the newer ones are trying to move 60 FPS.
Yep. It was technological constraints that kept them to 30 because of how big the environments were.
Yeah, like if they're going to make the same size patrol Destiny 2 and make it 60 FPS, I'll be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Because those patrol sizes were made for last gen hardware also. So, I mean, I feel like the 10 years it took to upgrade to this current generation, they should be able to double frames, double size at least. But I don't know. The next thing they say is Powers of the Darkness will be introduced into gameplay. My source didn't elaborate on this. I still don't know.
No, there's not a lot you can say about
it. I don't know
it.
what the darkness is, really. A lot of, you might say they do. People say it's the Traveler.
And the darkness is what supposedly gave Oryx his abilities.
Right, wasn't he like it? whatever.
Yes, he does. And during the raid, it actually makes mention of him losing the favor of the darkness or something else, and that's when he's hurtable. It's the nemesis of the traveler, is what's chasing the traveler. You know, and by way of orcs.
Well, I don't think.
As far as darkness powers go, I imagine that they're just trying to pull from the lore a bit because of the storyline behind Dredge and Yor, Thorn, and the uh, uh, those particular weapons being dark weapons, being forbidden weapons to guardians. There's a lore precedent for that, but we have no idea what those powers might look like.
I don't think having.
I'd enjoy
I think
that.
leaving the darkness out of any story in the next part of the game would be bad because. And if we don't get an answer to that, or at least tease, be a little sad, but
Yeah.
I'd like to see a lot more of like what things closer to home. The Nine, the Jovians, the things going on with Jupiter and all
there's
that.
so many stories they could.
Yes. It's a rich world when you look through that grimoire, man. There's a lot they can do.
There's a lot in there.
They say raids will be bigger, longer, and much more interesting in terms of. You guys want?
I doubt it.
Raid?
I don't think anybody does. I think King's Fall is as big as they're going to get.
Right now.
Yeah, I think King's Fall is as mechanic heavy as it'll ever get. Probably as big as it'll ever get. Probably as long as it'll ever get. But I've seen people struggle through Wrath of the Machine. We had a group that went 12 hours 2 weeks ago, which seems ludicrous to me. I told them it sounded like the worst day of my life, but I love that raid. But 12 hours is that's a work day for
I
me.
admire it.
Yeah.
If you love it, do it.
Look, if you told me you did 4 runs in 12 hours, like you did 3 and then you helped somebody else for the 4th one, I'd be like, okay, that's a long day of raiding. But if you tell me you did 12 hours and didn't beat it, that just sounds miserable.
I'd run my PlayStation over with a car. Be like, this game is taking too much. I need to get help.
Yeah.
But hey, like a lot of us said, like, best part of Destiny, we all agreed that the raids were right up there. That completion, the teamwork involved in it, it's something special. But yeah, I think a lot of people really enjoyed Wrath of the Machine, and for like a good group of people, you can knock that out real fast. And I think that's something that people liked about it. The brevity that it had.
I think a lot of what makes a game great is feeling like you're contributing to a cause. And when you're doing the raid, everybody has to do their part. There's the old raids had a little bit too much of standing around shooting, but right now with Wrath of the Machine, without being able to pick who's gonna be empowered and all that, everybody has to be on their game. Everybody has to be communicating.
Even from the get-go,
one of the
with the open for summoning Vosic or whatever encounter, people got to be moving around, going and getting the charge to dump into the things.
Yep. You just don't get that from any other games. I mean, even in this game, if you're playing at Nightfall, you can have somebody who's much lower light that you're carrying through. As you can do carries in the raid, everybody has to know the mechanics enough to do their part. And that's fun, it's interesting.
I think if the answer to like succeeding in a raid is simply shoot this, don't die, failed.
I agree.
Like that was the story of Crota. Like you can run through the first encounter by yourself and leave everybody behind. We were going for flawless raid. I was just like, hey, we're gonna do this. Like, if you know what you're doing in the lamp section, go. If you don't, chill. Sword across the bridge. You guys just climb up on top of the castle, glitch it, go through, and like even Crota's just like shoot him, let the sword bearer do all the work. Done.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think they've learned. I think the reception with Wrath of the Machine, reception to it, changed the way that they're going to build raids in the future. But I think if this leak is true, I think making them bigger.
Hey, Crippled Inferno. I hate to interrupt you, but I'm sorry. I just noticed the subtext to your picture. That's hilarious.
They're changing it.
That is indeed not my bathrobe. My bathrobe is yellow and has the Starfleet symbol on it because it is a Captain Kirk bathrobe.
Right. Next thing they said, ships will no longer be cosmetic only. No further details given.
Okay, so I have something on this, kind of. Did either of you play Jade Empire on the original Xbox?
Yeah.
Okay, so Jade Empire was a BioWare game. It was a really fun game with branching storylines and everything else. But one of the interesting things about the game is you had this airship that you would travel between large locations in the world. And when you would do that, you would actually enter into a mini game that played like a full, like 1943 vertical scroller style game, where you would attack enemy things, and how you performed at things you did in that might determine what power-ups you could start the next story part with. So I mean, it's a very simple game within a game, and I want to say that until recently, somebody until like 2 years ago, somebody actually had a patent on that idea of having a mini game within your game, and it expired. And they ruled that it couldn't be replaced. So it would not surprise me to see something like that implemented, but I don't know how much they could do with it, especially with the fact that they have so many cool different ship designs. How much effect they could have on the game. I do think it'd be neat, just because right now we spend a minute and a half just watching our ship fly with a planet in the background. It's not really doing much.
Do you think this means like you will fly your ship around?
No, not at all.
So do you think it means that your ship will be like a social space that you can invite people?
Nope, definitely not. They're not as big as the Normandy and Mass Effect. It's not a living quarters type ship. I mean, it'd be cool. I'm not naysaying it. I'm just saying I don't think that's the case.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
The only way I see that happening would be if the story went in a completely different direction than I would expect, and like Dead Orbit won the argument. We left our solar system, and we were all on ships of a much larger size with much further travel capabilities. We were going to like, far-reaching systems faster than light speeds.
Right. The next thing they say...
But I don't... No, I just don't see anything in the game that would suggest that's the direction they're going. I don't think Dead Orbit is going to suddenly win out, and we're all going to leave this planetary system.
Or read it. The next thing they said was they're implementing some kind of transmogrification feature. I don't know much about that from the game.
Yeah, it's one of those things where sometimes you get really sweet looking gear, but it doesn't have the role you want. And they're saying that they're going to have some kind of system where you'll unlock skins so that you can have the look you want while having the role you've got.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound bad.
I don't know. It doesn't, but at what point, you worry about homogeneity as far as what people look like. But we already kind of have that. I mean, how many times do you go into trials and you see everybody against you has got their trials gear on with their trials shaders, or the trials ornaments rather. Every hunter looks the same except for the shader is different.
Yeah.
So I could see him doing something like that, because there's some pretty cool looking stuff in the game.
I wouldn't use it in trials unless it had the perfect role. So unless it ever got roll trials gear. I think the meta
that's
is
as well.
Iron Banner stuff that keeps 100% rolls.
It took me my third kitty cloak before I actually got one I would wear for anything besides cosmetic, you know. And I've got 2 helmets and I haven't liked either of them yet, so you don't see me wearing a trials helmet. That's why I'm sitting on a bunch of ornaments waiting for gear that I would actually use to put it on.
Welcome to PC. You care?
I don't care.
I don't care. I don't care at
It's
all.
not going to affect, I think, already is PlayStation. My feeling with PC games is the stereotypical PC player is salty.
Yeah, so are the current PlayStation users.
Really nasty hacking stuff. They want to do it, go for it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, if they want to do it, that it's PC's problem, you know what I mean?
They're going to make money.
Yeah, what's the
like people will buy it. They're effectively
there's a polar I say there's a polar saying, not my circus, not my monkeys. I really don't care what they do with the PC version of it because I'm not playing the PC version of it.
I think what they're doing is they're developing it the way they are now, and then they hire some sort of outside company to like make the port over to PC. That's what they did with the Halo games. Like Bungie didn't do any sort of developing of Halo for PC. They got another studio, I believe, to do all of that. So when people complained about the PC game, the complaints like went to Bungie and were filed to this third party, and then they dealt with it accordingly. So as long as Bungie's not gonna get dragged down with all the craziness that would surely ensue with a PC game, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Make more money. Maybe I won't have to buy shit from him anymore.
Yeah. And I could be wrong about this, but I think that both the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One programming archetypes are closer to a PC than what the last console generation was. So it's a lot less to worry about as far as their end goes. I know PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 had completely different pipelines for how things worked. And these two consoles are much more similar, and they're also much more similar to PC.
I think the fact that there's so much crossplay between Xbox One and PC now on certain games is evidence of that. Like they run the same code.
Yep.
That seems
Yeah, seems reasonable to me.
Next thing they said was UI overhaul, more customization features coming. Cool. If there isn't, I would be surprised.
Yeah.
Eververse will not be as prominent as it is. I think they're gonna try and make it as many ways they can. People buy that stuff.
Yep.
I think.
No, I agree with what you said, Bum. Not yet.
Not yet. Exactly.
I think the big mistake.
But she'll make her way back.
The big mistake they made.
I will say this.
Go ahead. That made people just mad.
Yeah.
Stop playing.
The festival was definitely a misstep with the way it was handled, but I will say this. When Etherverse was first introduced, there were a lot of slippery slope arguments made, and I don't think they've borne out. We still haven't seen any weapons that came from, paying more money. We still haven't seen any major in-game effects. The experience boosters that you can get for Silver Dust aren't a big deal. I don't know about you, but I'm sitting on like 100 Silver Dust right now just because I keep getting the same ornaments over and over. Yeah, you just, it seemed like it was going to be really slow in Rise of Iron first drop, but if you're playing the game and getting those ornaments that you don't need, it builds up. So I would say that a lot of people were worried about it, and I think that a lot of those worries, thus far, a year and a half into the experiment, are mostly unfounded.
Yeah. Next, they say Xur will play a new role in the overarching story. Sweet. I think the 9 is pretty cool.
I mean, you like what he has to say right now, and his little tidbits, his flavor text and whatnot. So it'd be nice to see where that goes.
Sure.
Isn't I haven't heard all of the Zer lore, but isn't he like kind of selling us weapons to like cause a little bit of chaos and more war or something? Isn't he not totally a good dude on our side?
That's the thing. We don't know whose side he's on.
Yep.
He says it himself, like, his thoughts aren't his own and whatnot. Like, he's being controlled, that's for sure.
Yeah, he's an agent of the Nine, but we don't know what their agenda is.
Exactly.
I think it would be an awesome story to chase in Destiny 2. So if that's true,
Definitely.
that'd be cool. The speaker will be central to the main storyline.
Agreed. I agree.
About damn time.
Oh, okay. They haven't. He hasn't had a new bit of dialogue since Vanilla.
That's my
And
main bang.
whether you want to say that's because Bill Nye is expensive or because they just haven't had a partner to play, take your pick.
Bill Nice. Yeah, Bill Nice, the speaker.
I didn't know that.
Not Bill Nye the science guy. Bill Nye, the British actor.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
Not as cool.
Nye, not Nye, but yeah.
I'm sad about it. They should actually make Bill Nye the speaker. That'd be super cool.
They really should bring back Dinklebot.
Or make it like
Oh,
an
I
option
would
that
not
you
be
could check.
that.
Because doesn't Call of
We
Duty
should start the votes right now. Dinklebot for Destiny 2.
No, they need to have Etherverse sponsored celebrity ghost voices. I want Samuel L. Jackson as my ghost.
At Eververse.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Monetize it. I would pay for that. I would pay for Samuel L. Jackson telling me when I had a guardian down.
Shit, if we're gonna go like that,
I'm not
give me
even.
an Arnold Schwarzenegger ghost.
Tired of all
Sure,
these
I'm not gonna
motherfucking
attempt.
Guardians
Guardian down!
going motherfucking down.
Yep. I will not attempt any impersonations because I'm bad at it, but I would love having them. Yeah.
And the last little bit is 2 non-Guardian races.
I mean, there were rumors that they'd be coming out with Taking King, or not Taking King, with Rise of Iron. So I guess it wouldn't shock me.
Do you count splicers as new?
Yeah, for sure.
I'm 50-50 on
For
it.
sure. I mean, at what point is something a reskin? I mean, all enemies shoot at you, but they have different mechanics for how they different AI and different penalties for shooting them or killing them in different ways. I mean, theoretically they're reskins, but they're different enough that you have to think about fighting them differently.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I guess.
When you go into the raid, you can't just pop headshots like you like to.
Yeah, that's right. You can get punished. I've died by those head seekers a lot.
Everybody has, man. Everybody
Back when
has.
Vosic was like the hardest part of the raid.
I'll be honest with you. I thought there would be nothing I hate as much as when a captain throws his balls at you with the Taken. But they changed my mind because now when you
There's always something new, yeah.
you pop the head off one of those damn vandals in Siva, and all that red stuff starts spewing at you. That's even worse than the captain balls.
Cool. Well, we're getting really late in this. We're at 1 hour and 37, so let's just kind of speed through this next little bit. It's not too much. We
Sure.
got through the Destiny 2 leak. I want to talk about the weapon of the week. Did you think about this at all?
Weapon of the week.
Yeah. So I think in honor of this being the first podcast, it should be I think not the weapon of the podcast. It's the Kvostov.
All right.
Okay.
So
Classic.
I thought about it for a little while. It's like it's got to be something everybody can get, because what I think would be fun, I think we should try it out. I'll bite the bullet, make it a giveaway. I want people to go out with that exotic Kvostov and in 1 day's time get as many Crucible kills with it as possible. And
Okay.
what I want is, I'll show you how to do it later, but you can go on a Destiny tracker and find out exactly how many kills you get with a weapon in any given time period. they can pull that data up for you, and whoever gets the most kills with that, I'm gonna throw a $20 Amazon card their way, and I want them on the next podcast to tell us what made that weapon click and what was what they did to make it work for them, because essentially they've become like the clan expert on that.
Sure. Yeah, and since it's Kvastov, we absolutely need a rundown of what perks they selected on it.
I mean, I expect a lot of people will just be running the Doctrine of Spamming perks on it.
Sure.
But hey, maybe like they use it better as a scout rifle. Nobody's done. Who knows? So
Who knows? Yeah.
Call it the Kvastov. We can. I could do a screen capture, try and show how it's done. But basically, what you do is go to Destiny Tracker, search your name, go all the way over to Other. It should be like Game Aggregator. If you go onto modes and do PvP and then select the date, it'll pull up a sheet and show how many kills you got with each weapon during that range of time. And if you just like send a screenshot on band saying like, hey, check it out, I got 100 kills with Kvastov in one day. If that's the winner, we'll bring you in, throw $20 your way, and I want to hear what you guys thought about the weapon. Because I tried playing with it today, and it was hot garbage. I was doing bad.
Well, you're just not experienced auto rifle user, Crippled.
Nope. No land infusion. That's all
I use. On that, though. Kvastov, hidden gem right there.
So, yeah. We'll make it a thing. I'll make that the giveaway. I want to see how that works.
I like it.
I assume I'm not
eligible.
Maybe. We'll see. I want to see if people take to it.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna try it, but yeah, I don't consider myself eligible.
Yep.
And then I'm sitting on a Google Play and iTunes card that I'm never gonna use, so I'll also make this giveaway. There's 4 ways you can gain entrance to this second giveaway. The first one is entry of a song for the PvP highlight reel. Just look up. I'll send more info about it. If you have any questions, just post it in the band app. I want a song entry because I don't know every song, and I'm sure there's some really good ones that I know of. And I don't want to like listen to Spotify for ages to try and find the right one. So if you have a cool song that might be good for a montage, boom, that's one entry for the Google Play or iTunes card. Number 2 is just sending me a PvP clip. Doesn't even have to be good. That'll get you a second entry. Third is I think we're gonna put this podcast on a YouTube channel to be decided. But when you see this on a YouTube channel, post a comment about what you thought about it, what's better, and what you send names. That's a third entry. And then the fourth one is following the Zen Misfits Twitch channel. I think Top Hat set that up, and he's got people from the clan getting hosted all over the place. And I think it's a super cool way to see like what people are doing. Like it was hosting Top Hat and his buddies playing the raid the other day, and I dropped in there for a little bit and cheered them on while they were smashing their heads against Axis, and I think it's cool. And if you're not playing and if you've got free time, I think it's cool to check up on what your friends are. So those are the 4 ways.
Absolutely.
Song submission, PvP clip, comment about the podcast on whatever medium we post it, and following the Zen Misfits channel. Just take a screenshot of some reasonable proof that you're doing that, and we'll count it, and we'll do that giveaway sometime before the next thing. The next podcast we'll decide, but it'll probably be like 4 weeks from now.
Yeah, and that Twitch channel is Zen Misfits or Zen_Misfits at twitchtv.com.
We'll post it. I think Top Hat's done it too.
Of course.
Yep, of course.
And we have a section for Q&A, but we don't have any Qs. So
Yeah.
That's the first episode.
Yep. But that's about an hour and 45 minutes. So let's wrap it up. Do you guys want to do some sign-offs or anything?
Sure. You can follow me on Twitch at Fitsu13. Pretty active on there, playing a lot of Destiny. Anybody who's listening to this looking for a clan, you're welcome to check out the Zen Misfits, or Zen Outlaws, or Zen Ducks. We're all one big family. All that we ask is that you be mature, be responsible about your behavior, and join the band app so we can communicate.
Definitely check out. At least check us out on band. You know, if you don't want to join yet, you're unsure. Definitely download the band app. Check us out on there. You know, give you a good feel for it.
Yep.
Got any mystical?
Same deal. You can find me twitch.tv/mysticalbum altogether. Always streaming our private matches, whatever dumb things we're doing. It's always great. Find me on Twitter too, at mysticalbum. Don't post much there, but you know, whenever I go live and not, don't put it on there too. And yeah, that's all I got.
Me, I'm just twitch.tv/crippledinferno. My Twitter has pretty much nothing to do with games at all. I'm normally like tweeting at sports guys and harassing people who say dumb things.
Following your favorite porn stars. I get it.
Yep.
Lisa Ann. Nice.
Nice.
All right. Well, it's been fun. Hopefully we'll come up with a name for the podcast. I kind of thought it would be cool to just call it the Currently Unnamed Podcast.
Indefinitely, yeah.
I'm okay with that.
But
I'm definitely okay with
like
that.
a cool idea,
But thanks for having me, man.
Find a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think a lot of people tune in live, but if you're still here, thanks. If you're not, post something on YouTube. This has been fun.
I was gonna say, as far as your Q&A, I mean, where can people submit questions?
Yeah, for sure. For the next one,
you want to just submit them to the email on the YouTube?
Yeah, I know Zen Ducks has a YouTube channel, but I don't want to like put the whole thing on that. So maybe we'll find somewhere else. But if not, we can do it on Zen Ducks also. It's easy.
Okay. If anything, wouldn't hurt to just make one.
Cool. Well, that's all I got.
All right.
I think you're tired, Mystical, right? You've been working all weekend? Extra.
Yep. Gotta get up in 4 hours to go to work, but
Jeez.
yeah.
Okay.
Things we do for us.
Get to bed, man. Get some rest.
All right. Let's cut this out.
I'm an insomniac.
See you, everyone.
All right. Later. Have a good one.
Stop it.